You're back on Social TV, and now I'm joined by the Honourable Dr. Mathews Phosa, Chairman of Mathews and Associates. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
Lovely. The essay we all deserve, what does that essay look like?
The essay we deserve is an essay which is a constitutional state governed by the rule of law with all the democratic principles and rights to citizens. An essay with an economy that grows and creates jobs and attract more investment to grow the cake so that there's more jobs, there's more wealth spreading around our people. Very important to deregulate to allow the small and medium-sized businesses to start and establish themselves, because they create more jobs than big businesses.
Yes.
Very, very important to ensure that there's no corruption in our systems, whether private sector or public sector. There's clean government. Nobody pillages the taxpayer and take money for themselves. You saw the Auditor General's report saying 70 billion has been lost. That's money that could have funded education, roads and infrastructure. Talking about infrastructure, we need a South Africa where we can invest more in infrastructure, build roads, sanitation for the rural people, the squatter camps, improve their living conditions, make sure that every place is electrified. Very important that we are aware that it's important to invest in education. Education is the motive force for development for any nation. And I'm talking about a situation where in our country we've got a technological economy. So therefore, as the students exit matric, they need to be career guided as to what will make them useful in society. It's not the many degrees they have. In a technological economy, you need vocational and technical skills. That will make them relevant and ensure that they're employable and they can create their own jobs. As electricians and as technology, whatever, we need a digital youth. Digital connectivity is what rules the world today. And if they're not digital, they're irrelevant. We need to invest in health. You cannot have a productive nation which is unhealthy. And it's very, very important. The stories we hear about our health situation in the hospitals, they are sad stories. And I've been to some of the hospitals. I just feel we should invest more resources in health and education. If we get our nation healthy, our nation educated, we can compete anywhere in the world.
Definitely. I know, I think vision and leadership go together.
Definitely.
So what is your prediction of how leadership will be or how it should be by 2030?
Well, it depends on South Africans. They choose leaders. And at the moment, we're going through a crisis of leadership, political leadership. And with my party, the ANC, being in power and losing power very slowly. Nothing wrong. It's a democracy. If you don't deserve power, you lose it. You go into opposition. And I think democracy is maturing, looking at the elections in August last year, where the key metros went to the DA. Nothing wrong, it's a democracy. They could swing back to the ANC or to any other party. That's how it should be. So leadership will be defined by the level of trust the people have in any of the parties. If there's less trust in you, you lose votes. And that is correct. That's the punishment you deserve, you get from the masses. So that's why I say it's in the hands of the masses.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. And in this context, we haven't, if you could have a magic wand to sort out any issue right now and no one could stop you in the government and how it has executed or has tried to execute the NDP plan, what would be the one thing you would take away or fix?
I'll fire President Zuma and make sure that there's an environment where we fight corruption without him being there, because he looks like the champion of corruption or the protector of the corrupt or the importer of the corrupt. And I'll bring discipline. All ministers who are implicated in email, I'll fire them, get them out. No half measures, and make sure that we all have confidence in government again. And of course, I'll also go to the ruling party and say, why are you protecting the corrupt amongst yourself? We need to listen to the voices of the nation. No, South Africans are great people. They love this country. They want stability. They want security. They don't want to be raped or hijacked or anything. We need to stabilize this country, stop the crime. Make sure that everybody respects the law, and protect the women and children and the disabled.
What is public-private and why do you think public and private sector are struggling right now to really collaborate? I mean, it's great now we have Vision 2030. You're seeing government officials, you're seeing public sphere, you're seeing the private sector. But what do you think what is the biggest struggle for them to actually coincide and get the ball rolling?
I think the first thing, we must close the gap, and I said it in my speech, between government and private sector. And build confidence between these two key players. We must create an environment of policy stability, predictability, and dependability. If we continue to change policies from one minister to the other, it doesn't work. The investors want certainty. They want to know what are they putting their money into. Yeah, so that we must assure the investor this is an investment that is destination, is predictable. Deregulate, remove all the bottlenecks to investments, and then get the private sector attracting even more money from outside, and our own private sector investing the money they are now holding back. But they're not investing, but they have the money because there's no confidence in government policy direction. So the government needs to smell the coffee and say, this is the Reserve Bank, will respect it. This is the Constitutional Court, will respect it. These are the policies we put before. When we change anything, we'll consult with all stakeholders who might be affected. Not like the mining charter, what happened. You consult after you publish it, it doesn't make sense.